So we've discussed how it was a historic day in terms of pushing the reform momentum in terms of single tax structure. But your first thoughts?
Well, first, I would like to congratulate Mr. Narendra Modi's government, particularly the Finance Minister, for bringing about this momentous task and making it happen. It's not easy to get 26 states and so many 26 parties and bring this to a conclusion. And I think this augurs well for India, because India needed a common market, and we now can see that happen. And I think that is quite an extraordinary reform, very much needed at a gloomy time at this time. And we hope now that this will bring about a sea change once again, like delicensing did, in terms of bringing about increased prosperity to this land.
Okay, Mr. Gulabchand, good afternoon. For an industry like yours, what kind of an impact do you see? There won't be any direct impact for sure, but indirectly, whether it's greater price competitiveness, reduced costs, reduced supply chain or improved supply chain mechanisms, etc.
I can't hear you.
Mr. Gulabchand, is my voice reaching you now?
Yes, now it's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, listen, certainly for particularly companies that are working all over the country, as well as sourcing from all over the country, I think this stands to create a great benefit for them, because once you can get set-offs against the supply taxes and supply costs, you are going to get a lower regime of tax. As soon as the first 5 years where the center has promised the states to fill the gap, once that period is over, I expect that the GST rates can come down, because it will lead to a better collection. It would lead to lowering of the taxes to get the same amount of revenue. So I think that would be the advantage, particularly for a company like ours. However, I do wish to caution here somewhere. If you thought the 13 years it took to get the GST into place in India, with a little more procedural stuff left of the states passing it, the Lok Sabha again passing the amendments, and the President signing on the bill, barring that, I think the bigger challenge than making this happen would be to actually implement it. Because implement it needs a huge platform, electronic platform on one side, changing practices of filing returns on the other side. There's a very complex structure that would be required, which must work with a system integration manner, in a seamless manner, for it to succeed. So I think this is going to take some time. I would put it down to at least after the first GST is introduced and starts working, it would take at least 4 to 5 years for issues to settle down before it starts becoming really, really fruitful for us. So I would caution that the implementation is a serious matter and is far more difficult than getting the act passed, while it may not seem so at this time.
Okay, well, we need to take a short break on that note, but thank you so much for joining us and giving us your